So this is a joint civil action against Galamsey. We're calling for an emergency response to stop the poisoned rivers urgently. 2 weeks ago, a young couple, Evans Dogbe and Kate Agboga, suffered the unimaginable heartbreak of losing their two precious children. Innocent lives cut short by falling into deadly Galamsey pits. In that same devastating time, the Ghana Water Company Limited sounded a desperate call of alert. Pollution from illegal mining had forced them to shut down critical water treatment facilities. Communities living near the Densu River, a crucial source of water lifeline for Accra, flowing from the eastern region, are crying out about illegal miners destroying the Densu. At the same time, the authorities permit and fail to act swiftly in the face of this injustice after several reports. Along the Ankobra, the Birim, the Pra, and Tano rivers, what was once clear and life-sustaining is now highly polluted, exposing households who have no choice but to drink from these polluted, contaminated waters to severe health risk now and in the future. In the Etiwa forest, illegal miners are brazenly tearing apart this natural treasure, destroying not only our environment, but also the hopes of future generations. Broad daylight robbery without fear or consequence. Drive from Accra to Kumasi, and you will witness the heartbreaking destruction of Osino Township, a once thriving community now reduced to a shadow of its former self. Just 2 weeks ago, these miners invaded Konongo, another town, falling prey to their relentless devastation. Bear in mind, this is the town where a pregnant woman attending Nature's Call in 2023 lost her life. And another man in 2024 also died in a Galamsey pit. The less said about the development in Asankragua, the better. Critical roads and transport infrastructure at Enyinem, Enchi, and parts of the western region are under the threat of collapse. About a week ago, we heard about the reported incident of how armed illegal miners chased away an enforcement team of 30, brazenly undermining the security of Ghana. As we speak, cocoa farms are being mowed down by Galamsey activities in Sendu and Jirabonso in the western region. These are not just isolated incidents, but the latest accounts of 8 years of agonizing tragedies for families that have lost their loved ones to deadly pits across Galamsey prevalent regions and communities across our country, Ghana. Drink or swim from the polluted waters at your own health risk, as we are poisoned, slowly exposing us to severe present and future risk of heavy metal contamination-induced diseases of the brain and kidney, as well as fertility and reproduction abnormalities. Our forest reserves and farmlands are being destroyed and degraded with reckless abandon, all in the name of gold mining, or as the government says, all in the name of making Ghana the mineral hub of Africa. In the mining communities, law and order are crumbling under the weight of impunity, with associated human rights abuses, adverse and forced possession of individual lands and farms, and breakdown of good governance by both traditional and political leadership. In all this, it is regrettable that the government's response remained distressingly indifferent, allowing this national catastrophe to continue. The question is, how many more Ghanaians must die from these deadly pits? How many more must die from Galamsey, associated armed conflicts, human rights abuses, and livelihood deprivation? How many Ghanaians must continue to die today from the polluted and poisoned rivers before we say enough is enough? Today, the Media Coalition Against Galamsey, Labour, made up of the Forum, Trade Union Congress, and the Ghana Federation of Labour, CSOs including CASA Initiative Ghana, the Ghana Catholic Bishops Conference, the Christian Council of Ghana, the Office of the Chief Imam, Brace, Eco-Conscious Ghana, the One Movement, the CSO Platform on SDGs, the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, and other CSOs are saying enough is enough. Enough of the government's indifference to the fight against Galamsey, the rape of our forests and river bodies, and its focus on elections. Enough of the disregard for Ghanaian lives lost to Galamsey-associated fatalities, poisoning, conflict, and human rights abuses. The poisoning of rivers and streams, the destruction of our forests through the government's tacit and active policies are reaching crisis proportions and demand urgent and unwavering action to restore confidence in leadership and uphold the rule of law in our country, Ghana. We are therefore calling on the executive, elected officers of the state, and all appointed public servants who are cared for and protected by the taxes of citizens and friends at home and abroad to prioritize the social and environmental welfare of every Ghanaian by urgently finding immediate solutions to national crises concerning ecocide, the poisoning of rivers, and the destruction of our forest reserves. Now our demands, and this is not the time for meetings. The time for meetings are past. We need actions and actions right now. Number one, Mr. President, you must declare a state of emergency over our water bodies and get the military to clear everyone found on the water bodies. Because we know the mining on water bodies is illegal. Two, all planned and active mining concessions overlapping with river buffers should be abrogated, and all mining within 100 meters buffer of all rivers and streams should be halted immediately under the state of emergency by the President. Failure of which the President must implement the full force of Act 995 without fear or favor of political color or status in our societies. Number three, almost all water bodies take their sources from forest reserves. So all entry permits given to mine or prospect in globally significant biodiversity areas must be abrogated immediately. Number four, Mr. President, repeal LI 2462. The NDC and the MPP sat in Parliament and allowed this law to be passed. It should be repealed immediately. Number five, our call to all presidential candidates of the political parties vying for elections should publicly declare their total support for this crisis response we are asking for. Enough of political parties going and say, continue doing it, when we come, we'll allow you to go. Enough of parliamentary candidates going to say they are creating WhatsApp platforms so that they will be there with regional ministers, and when the forces come, they should call them or they should attack them. Enough of that. Enough of the call for amnesty for those who have been jailed for Galamsey. We need all political parties, especially the MPP and the NDC, committing to this emergency crisis. Ghanaians across this country deserve more than what we are witnessing today. Every single day that the president fails to protect our human rights and constitutional rights to clean, safe drinking water and a healthy environment, which is sworn an oath to uphold, he fails in his duty to every one of us. All our leaders who swore an oath to uphold the fiduciary responsibility to safeguard our natural heritage and tackle the Galamsey crisis are also tragically letting us down. We challenge the president to prove to us that addressing Galamsey with the urgency it deserves as a national crisis is of utmost priority over winning the next election. Mr. President, if you have forgotten, we are reminding you that you have about 4 months to redeem your presidency and your legacy, which you stated that you are prepared to put on the line to tackle Galamsey. If we do not act by the end of September, we commit to full civil solidarity in support of actions proposed by Labour that we would, by the end of this month, if you don't act, take all civil actions to bring pressure onto you. We would abide by the advice you gave on the 7th of January 2017. We will be citizens, not spectators. Enough is enough. The time has come for the state to prioritize our welfare and lives. Stop the poisoning of our river bodies. Halt the destruction of our forest. Citizens' lives matter too. Act now. Hashtag Galamsey is genocide. Hashtag stop Galamsey now.